Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cryptid Zoo. I believe this is the Christmas special that we're diving into. I don't know what exactly we're talking about because Nick refuses to inform me, but I hope Christmas was well. This is a late Christmas special. Yes, I get it. I know, it's not on Christmas.
This is going to come out roughly New Year's Eve.
Like, what, like Merry Xmas?
Yeah, so this is meant to be the Christmas special. I feel like we should give a little bit of needed context before we advance. Not that it's important. So a little update. We were planning on recording a week prior so that we could get this out on Christmas, but I got hit with the mother of all sinus infections and could not speak. So we sort of delayed it. And since we don't have community posts, there was no way for me to inform it. So I apologize, but we're here now and we're here with the cryptid. And if you read the title, you know what it is. So I think we should start. Any guesses? Do we have any guesses?
Yeti.
So one of you is technically correct. Today we are talking about Bigfoot. The Bigfoot.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. No way.
So Yeti falls under the umbrella, but I didn't decide to delve deep into that. I wanted to talk about the concept of Bigfoot and also his culture surrounding, well, I mean, I guess Sasquatch culture altogether, because it's really weird. Like, if you've seen anything, Bigfoot's more or less a joke. Like, there's a lot of different media that sort of portrays it as just sort of like a whoa, monkey bro. And so
You take that back.
well, it's what it is. It's not necessarily good or bad, but it's like, the chupacabra is taken more seriously than Bigfoot. And so I decided to take this episode. What makes this episode a little bit special is that I wanted to look objectively at the cryptid. Now we're still doing an introductory level, case files and whatnot, and analysis, but I wanted to look more at the environment and the cryptid itself. So we're going to do a little bit of a deep cleanse, but as per usual, 2 case files. And we'll tackle those right after the description. So, the Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, is depicted as a large bipedal humanoid with unusually large hands and feet. Often depicted as an ape, Bigfoot has been spotted all over parts of the world. I had to make sure I read that right, and we'll tackle the different parts of the world, more on that later. The most prominent locations for Bigfoot's territory being the state of Washington within the United States borders. Before we tackle the case files, what's your guys' experience with Bigfoot? You ever seen one? You like monkeys?
He isn't real. He isn't real. He's not. The shows that are based on Bigfoot, where they're like chasing, isn't it like Chasing Bigfoot and like a few other things?
Mm-hmm.
The shows that are based on him, I think they're entertaining to watch, but entertaining in the sense that they're dumb. So bad it's good. That kind of spiel.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 12 seasons dedicated to looking for Bigfoot.
It's crazy.
And they never once got a sighting.
Well, they've gotten sightings, but they're not like sightings,
It's like 2 eyes in the dark that could be a deer.
They're just like, we got this picture for some random guy down at the gas station. He gave it to us for $20. What a steal. But look at this. This is clearly Bigfoot.
It's just a picture of me taking a shower.
Brennan, you got any?
Jesus, dude, come on. As a kid, I really enjoyed Bigfoot. I never really watched the shows, but like I would read some books.
I used to be an avid Bigfoot hunter.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like go around in the woods try to find him too?
Yeah, and I even like gaslit myself into believing I saw him once.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You have a real gaslighting problem, Todd.
I don't have a gaslighting problem.
We need to talk about this.
No, we don't. We already did.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, no, we don't. And honestly, no. I mean, I remember I dressed up for him one year's Halloween.
Really?
But I just, yeah.
That's wild. Anyways, if we're all more or less on the same level with our Bigfoot knowledge, then allow me to get into the first case file, which is roots and origins. We are going to talk about where this big man comes from. The legend of the Bigfoot began in the late 1800s with numerous reports of a 9 to 12 foot tall, hairy biped with unusually large tracks bearing resemblance to what one would describe as human feet. It is worth noting that no other species in the animal kingdom have tracks that resemble a human foot, the closest being a black bear with 5 toes adorning the front of the foot. Even still, the tracks are far from similar, with an expanded palm pad and a short heel-to-toe ratio. One of the first videos said to capture a Bigfoot comes from 1967 from filmmakers Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin. The pair were in the woodlands of South Carolina when a loud noise caught their attention. Snapping to capture the source of the noise, the footage contains nearly 8 uninterrupted seconds of contact with an ape-like creature wandering the wooded areas. Nearly 70 years have passed, and both filmmakers claim to their dying breaths that the footage is authentic, with many outsiders claiming it to be a hoax, with others allegedly proving that the footage is completely authentic. This is one of the most infamous pieces of Bigfoot like footage, and I feel like I would do us a disservice if I didn't at least mention it in the first case file. The Patterson Gimlin footage is what it's commonly known as, is the go-to video for Bigfoot. And if you guys want, I can send it into chat.
Please do. I don't think I've seen this.
For this segment of Cryptid Zoo, the cast is going to be talking about the Patterson Gimlin footage in great detail, which we will provide video of on the YouTube version of the podcast. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, please hop over to youtube.com/cryptidzoo and you can watch the footage there. Otherwise, you can hear us describe it as best we can, and we are not novelists, so thank you for your patience. Yeah, I mean, as you see, there's a lot of discourse between if it is fake or if it's real, but at the very least, one of the main things that people claim to sort of give it authenticity is that how the Bigfoot walks apparently is extremely unnatural, like with the way that the arm swings, that if you were to do it, you'd be basically throwing your shoulder out of its socket, which a lot of people have given credit to it being real, but then other people have credited to being like, oh, I can zoom in, I can see a zipper, and you know, it's just public's word against public. So
it's one of those things I've never really believed in the footage, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like dropping the bit of me being a skeptic.
Yeah.
I've never really believed in this footage for 2 really big reasons. One, it's way too grainy to even tell, even if I wanted to say it was real.
I actually think it's pretty clear.
I don't like it, especially with the added story that apparently they were out hunting Bigfoots before this.
So the story behind it was that they were filming like a nature documentary in the woods, which is why they had their camera equipment. And this is a reminder that this was in 1967. So for 1967, that footage is actually pretty high quality, considering like they were just transitioning out of the black and white era. So it's grainy because it's trying to fill in color. And even with that, it's able to clearly capture the creature, I want to say, the Bigfoot, whatever, which is better than most like caught on tape cryptid footages can like claim, or even trail cams for that matter. Believe it or not, I'm willing to give it more credit than most people do, but you know, I won't tell you to think one way or another.
I feel like it's just kind of tough. And again, you said this was taken in 1967, so I mean,
yes,
yeah, the footage is about as good as we're possibly going to get back then.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to put it, but just when I see it, it genuinely looks fake.
Here, I am going to give you guys the stabilized version of it. This is what I want to point out. Something that I noticed. First, if you're watching it, it almost looks CG-esque. Also, I apologize, audio listeners. We're focusing on this footage way too much. On YouTube, I'll be playing it, but there's a certain part where it like turns and looks like as it's turning and looking, it almost looks CG, right?
Yeah.
Almost looks CG. Now, the thing that I think is interesting is that's an easy write-off for nowadays. That was in 1967. And granted, this footage is enhanced because this is their attempt at like stabilizing it. But even still, it's like
right.
CG didn't exist back then. So then what is it? I don't think it looks like a costume to me, because for me, like I pay attention to the little things like its foot, like its feet, its hands, its motion. Suits are bulky. So suits are furry. This fur seems short. So if you like watch it, you see the way that the bicep is sort of like flexing as it's moving. I'm hyper analyzing it, but it's because this was my childhood, dude. My childhood was analyzing this footage, be like, Bigfoot's real. And the way that it moves is so defined that to me, I do not see it being a costume, because a costume at least like sort of crinkles, or at the very least, like if someone was walking in like a gorilla suit, the biceps would not flex when they move.
I'll give it this, just kind of watching the footage back. If it was a suit, it would be a really realistic one.
Like the fakest part about it is the face, but even still, you're dealing with a cryptid. Of course, the face is going to be like hard to define.
Yeah. I guess another thing that kind of throws me off is the shape of the back as it goes kind of to the butt and to the legs. It's a very odd shape, and to be a human that fills that kind of shape out would be hard. You would have to have like a lot of... If it was a suit, they would be extremely hot and uncomfortable. We
say a lot of out-of-pocket things. So I'm going to throw us another thing to say that's out of pocket. Bigfoot's caked up.
Bigfoot is caked up.
Bigfoot's packing a whole bakery. He's trying to sneak away with that thing. And
this is more than a bakery, Nick. He is the baking corporation.
Dude, I was going to drop a copyright, but I'm like, dude, we're not sponsored. So,
Bigfoot is walking around...
It's a very unusual shape. It's a very unusual shape is the point that I'm getting at, or JC is getting at. That's what's so cool about this footage, and this is why it's become like sort of infamous. There have been people saying like, oh, this person like claimed the director said it was fake. Well, first of all, he died, and he said on his like dying breath, he was like, no, that shit's not fake. And the other one still stakes that it's not fake, and he's probably dead too, but he lived longer than the other one.
I'm just saying it would also be pretty funny. I feel like on your dying bed, people are debating over something fake and real, and as your dying breath, you're like, it's real, and you know it's like damn well fake, but you think it's funny.
Yeah. So it's less hard proof, but it is worth pointing out that this guy did stake to his last breath that it was real. So
yeah.
I see what you mean when you were saying like it looks a little CG. And I was thinking like, well, that could have just been like them enhancing the film. They could have had to reanimate some parts.
Yeah.
But then again, just like the way it moves still is just so, because how you were saying earlier, was that Utah that said if any human were to move like that, it would literally throw their shoulder out?
Yeah, it was so I'm not going to repeat myself because of the podcast already said it, but it's people have researched the thing and done the medical like anatomical research into it, and they're like, yeah, that would throw your shoulder out.
Damn. But and then even watching it in this enhanced version, that movement still looks so fluid for it. It's just, I don't know, man. And the way you guys were talking about the way it's built, yes, that would be a very difficult form for a human to achieve. And I think that also just gives it more merit in the end.
And even if you wanted to like, stake off the 68 FPS, because maybe that changes shit, and just pan up to the GIF that we put in chat and look at the grainy version, it's still walking the same way. And a lot of what we're saying still applies. The muscle is taut. It's still got the arm swing, and it's still an odd shape. Like fake or not, that's a cool like video.
Yeah, seriously.
I can agree with that.
All right, moving on. Many speculate on the authenticity of this largely elusive creature, with shrinking woodlands and little to no evidence to show of the creature. This is largely in part due to the emergence of reality TV shows such as Hunting Bigfoot, staking themselves in parts of the US with largely questionable sources of evidence passed as proof. Theories suggest that the Sasquatch as we know it is majorly an endangered species with a great sense of intelligence and social awareness, thus keeping themselves hidden from public view and avoiding leaving behind noticeable evidence for the general public.
The Bigfoot Secret Society?
Yeah, they hunt like they chill under tents. They're in Washington.
Dude.
Brennan, are you part of the Bigfoot Secret Society? Are you trying to quiet us? Are we getting a gag order?
You will not silence me.
So what's next? Hey, so what happened when I was gone? What happened there?
Yo, wait, did they replace Brennan with a Bigfoot? Did Brennan go to take a bathroom leak and just a Bigfoot caught him in the like hallway? It was like, I'm wearing your skin.
What's next, Nick?
Yeah, that's what you called me. This theory implies the public would have a difficult time looking into their existence, but what of the US government, or other world governments for that matter? It is implied that much of what we may know about Bigfoot is covered by a national sense of secrecy, but those theories are purely speculatory and have little to no evidence to support their credibility. Even still, great apes existed in the time of the early Neanderthals, which suggests that some could have persisted at one point in time. As for their existence in modern times, sightings suggest a possible link. So that's case file 1. I wanted to delve into basically, like, you know how every single cryptid we sort of have to question its legitimacy?
Yeah.
Bigfoot is one of those cryptids where, without knowing the actual story, it's so easy to write off. Because it's like, monkey man living in every single part of the US. So it's easy to write off, and I wouldn't blame anyone. But I think it's more important for us to deconstruct it as opposed to dismantle it. Because, like, we just need to be like, hey, this is how this works. This is how this works. This is what accounts for this. Whereas everything else, I'm just kind of like, if things don't add up, you don't have to believe in it. And the same stands for this, but it's like, there are explanations. It's just not immediately apparent.
I guess to put into perspective on how I see things for Bigfoot and taking account of everything, there's probably stuff I'm missing. Like, I figure there's always something I'm missing whenever it comes to us doing the episode for Cryptid Zoo. I think I know something about a cryptid, and then I learned something new, like with the chupacabra. There was a few things that I didn't know about it, but then researching it further kind of advanced my knowledge in that. So, as quick as I am to jump to conclusions saying that Big Ape Man isn't real, I will be a little slower and a little more cautious, just kind of being open-minded.
Case file 1 was very lacking in stories and encounters, so with case file 2, I'm gonna change that a little bit. I got a couple of the more interesting Bigfoot stories, if you guys would indulge me. With Bigfoot sightings taking place all around the globe, we are going to focus on significant encounters from North America. With the ground rules set, let's begin. In 2007, Rick Jacobs was hunting in the Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania. While in the forest, Rick managed to capture some very infamous pictures of what appeared to be a hairy, hunched humanoid inspecting a log. It is also worth noting that Rick's trail cam also caught bear cubs in a different photograph. Comparing the two photos, there is a distinct lack of similarities between the two creatures, implying the first creature to not be a bear at all. And Papa did not come without receipts. Bam, there's the trail cam footage.
Let's go. So this is
what he is claiming to be a Bigfoot.
That is hairy human.
That is hairy human, yeah.
I mean, it looks similar to the footage you put in, though, Todd.
That is not a bear. You cannot convince me that that is a bear.
Yeah.
The arms are way too long.
That's what I'm saying. Bears don't have long limbs.
It also might be my dad. In 1994, former U.S. Forest Patrolman Paul Freeman claimed to have spotted what he described as, quote, a family of Bigfoot, end quote, in Washington State Park. Paul attempted to record the incident, marking the footage to support his claim along with other photos of the incident. Mr. Freeman has been known to frequent the wooded areas of Washington, possibly giving credence to his claims and raising suspicion on the national parks. Solid, I guess. Solid. Apparently Bigfoot's got a family now.
So
Littlefoot.
That was it. It's just they exist.
That's Lil Pinky. I mean, so was the first one.
I mean, the first one had a picture and it was like a claim. This one was just like, yeah, I walk around. Yeah, they exist.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of the same.
This guy just seems so casual about it. Like, what things has he seen in the forest that makes Bigfoot?
Here's the picture, but good luck trying to find anything out of it.
Oh, I see him.
Yeah, but that, to me, that looks like a bear.
That looks like
that does look like Seto Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, you can see like the longer nose.
I even see the hat.
Yeah.
Now, this is my favorite Bigfoot story. Okay? JC, I want you to control yourself, okay?
Because they're Native Americans.
No. Lastly, in 1924, a group of prospectors claimed to have been attacked by what they describe as, quote, gorilla men, end quote. Before the incident, one of the prospectors claimed to have spotted a large ape-like creature. Rather than running from it, the prospector shot at the creature, unprompted, causing the creature to flee deeper into the woods. Later that night, the prospector would find themselves surrounded by a group of Sasquatch, pelting the cabin with rocks and boulders. One of the monsters even reached into the cabin in an attempt to get inside. As the sun rose, the creatures began to back off, fleeing into the woods, never to be seen again.
They're night creatures.
Dude, that story is the epitome of step outside. Nah, step outside.
They're vampires.
We won't
Those
jump
are
you.
vampires. Those are
No,
not
yeah.
gorillas.
Have you ever seen the meme that step outside Luther? Open the window, Luther.
Yeah. Luther, open the window.
That's this with monkeys. Oh my god, that is such a funny story. He shot at one Bigfoot and then a gang of them showed up to jump their ass.
Oh my god.
It's so funny. I love that.
That is pretty. It's so dumb. That's entertaining though. I love that one. That's got to be my favorite story.
Yeah. Step outside, Brendan.
I can't get over the. Yeah, I literally don't, dude. I can't get
Open
over
the door,
that.
Brendan.
I don't wanna. You can't make me.
No, I'm all alone, dude. I promise. I'm not with my friends.
I looked out the window and I saw like 20 of you guys. Like
You guys are hiding in the bush.
No, I see them.
No, those are dogs. Step outside.
Grab the boulder. Grab the boulder.
I hear that one talking about grabbing a boulder. I'm not coming outside.
So, with that concludes the second case file. We have our little encounters, our little stuff, our little stories, some Bigfoot encounters. Of course, we have some little Bigfoot stories, but I've got a little surprise for you guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Little surprise singing challenge. Yeah. So normally we would go into active theories, but we're gonna slide something just before active theories because Bigfoots are pretty straightforward.
Because it's a Christmas special.
That is mostly a coincidence, but
A coinkadink, some might say.
normally I would have given JC this job, but I decided not to. He stayed in the dark, so I took the job. Fellas, today we are going to be tackling Squatch type archetypes.
Let's go, Squatchberg.
Yeah, like a Squatchberg, like a little Squatchberg. Now, to briefly give you guys a little bit of insight and let you know what we're doing, I have compiled 3 different variants of Bigfoots, and I want you guys to tell me which one's your favorite and what are your thoughts on the other ones. Just give me your thoughts as we hit them out of the park. All right.
Okay.
I don't wanna.
Too bad. So the first one, the first Squatch type archetype is the Yeti.
Yeah.
The northern alternative, make sure I'm reading that word right, is a more aggressive cousin of the Bigfoot, known to attack and even kill hikers who find themselves in its hunting grounds. This is backed up by the fact that mountain climbers and hikers, some of them go missing, just straight up go missing. Now that could be accounted to them dying on the climb and their bodies are, covered by snow or whatever. And that is very, very possible. It is also possible that they are being hunted, but leave that at that.
You think the Yeti walks up to them and it's like, it's clobbering time?
No.
And clobbers them?
No. I am not entertaining that idea.
I'm sorry.
Never speak up again.
I'm sorry, sir.
Brendan?
I love the Yeti.
Yeah, what do you like about him?
Man, I don't know. I think it just has something to do with as a kid I really liked the Rudolph Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, the Abominable Snowman.
Character. Yeah, he was my favorite character.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that's literally all it has to do with it. It's just that he was my favorite.
The next Squatch type archetype is the skunk ape, a smelly southern alternative to Bigfoot. Also aggressive, the skunk ape is said to be a swamp-dwelling cryptid, hunting in the southern states such as Florida.
Oh, okay.
It is the Florida Men of Cryptids. So we knew it was coming eventually with the Jersey Devil and Mothman being West Virginia. It was bound we were going to cover a Florida Man cryptid.
Gonna go to the Yeti party, the Yeti raver.
I will say that skunk apes are notoriously smelly. If that wasn't like apparent,
Yeti pizza.
it's like you can smell a skunk ape. AC. You can smell a skunk ape before you can see it.
I have never once heard of a skunk ape before this talk.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it just sounds really... Dude, it sounds so... it sounds stupid. It sounds stupid.
You think he's got a stripe on his back?
Dude, what if he just... What if he was just walking in the road one day when they were painting it, and he just got painted over, and now he's got a white stripe on his back?
So like, you're assuming you know what a skunk ape looks like?
I am assuming yes.
Do you have a picture of a skunk ape?
I do.
Oh, hand it over. I'll give you some more thoughts if you give me a picture.
Here,
I'm gonna need to see this.
Oh, ew.
That's generally what it looks like.
That's just a homeless man.
It's Florida. How many times do I need to repeat this? He is the Florida Man cryptid.
Dude, it kind of looks like an orangutan, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, yeah. But it also looks like a homeless, like, Ku Klux Klan.
Granted, this is a doctored picture,
Christ.
but this is generally what it looks like. It's not a literal skunk ape. It's called the skunk ape because of its smell.
Okay. So I have to assume that there's a reason it smells. I assume it's like a pheromone thing to keep things away from it.
Possibly.
Probably.
But yeah, this thing's super aggressive. And we'll tackle the last one. The last squash type archetype that we got is the Yowie. The Australian Bigfoot. The Yowie is a feral 7-foot-tall beast of a creature with large tusks and ferocious killer instinct, just like everything in Australia.
Did you say tusks?
Yes.
A tusk, like a woolly mammoth?
Like, think more saber-toothed tiger.
Okay. You have a picture of this one?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Okay, now, if you wanted cracked out cryptid, you'll get it with this one.
Oh my god. That is not a beast of a monster. That is a dad having a midlife crisis.
In Australia, yeah.
She took the kids, mate.
Dude.
That was pretty good.
I mean, the Yowie is... I really don't know what else there is to really say about the Yowie, aside from the fact that, like, it is just a far more... It's probably the most aggressive Bigfoot, probably. From what I've heard in, like, stories.
Picture of the Yowie?
No, I'm going to leave you with that one. I want you guys to think that he's a midlife crisis dad. Yeah, this thing is I don't know what to do. So, yeah, out of the three, which one's your favorite?
I like the Yowie, mate.
Dude, they don't get any better. I thought they would look better if I looked them up. No.
I told you.
It doesn't get any better.
Does not.
Who are the people making these? It's like 5-year-olds. I'm gonna say the Yeti is pretty cool.
Yeti is pretty solid.
Yeti. The thick fur, the being able to withstand cold temperatures, being able to blend in with the snow and tread it gracefully, I assume, because it's killing people, you know? I assume the Yeti is probably like the polar bears of the Bigfoot scale.
Yeah, probably.
It's like all the Bigfoots are deadly, but the Yeti's the worst one.
I think you guys already know where I stand in this.
Need you to say
decision. You want me to say it, Todd?
I want you to say it.
You want me to say it?
I need you to say it.
The Yeti is by far the most superior out of all of these creatures.
You see, while I think my favorite of these three variants is the skunk ape, I'm gonna pick the Yowie purely because of the midlife crisis dad. Also, Australians talk funny. Moving on, we're gonna briefly tackle active theories. We got 2 theories and then the proof, because there's not much for Bigfoot. It just kind of is. So the first theory is it's Gigantopithecus survived the extinction, just chilling. I just hit my mic. I apologize. Just chilling. He's doing his thing.
In Cedar Rapids Falls.
Yeah, he's chilling in Cedar Rapids.
Cool theory. Get on to the next one because I don't like that one.
All right, second one is Neanderthal evolution, similar to Gigantopithecus, but it's a offshoot of Neanderthals, and it's doing its own thing. And then technically, the third theory is just that Bigfoot is just Bigfoot, but that's like, I'm not even gonna like explain it. That's just what it is. The proof, I'm sorry, we're going a little too fast, fellas. I'll slow it down a little bit. The proof is our scientific explanation for what these cryptids are, and the proof is that it is a mistaken gorilla and just a bunch of hoaxed videos and stories.
That just sounds like lazy writing.
Well, what else is there really? Like,
does a gorilla have long arms?
Yeah, they got long arms, but they have short legs.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know. Bigfoot's leaving big footprints, and I don't just mean that literally. I mean, if he does exist, he's left a lot of clues in his trail. As to him existing, I mean, I'll give credit to that he could have existed at some point. I can see that. I don't know. I'm leaning, I'll say this now, my favorite out of these three is that he's just Bigfoot.
I think I like that too. I think I like that Bigfoot's just Bigfoot. I'm not a huge fan of everything else. It's just what there is. Like, with Thunderbirds, it's more interesting because there are like variants, but for Bigfoot, you can only really flavor Big Monkey so many different ways.
At some point, it's just not an ape anymore. It's just a weird mammal.
I even said in the Thunderbird episode that there was a chance that because I believe I picked the theory that it was just something that survived, right?
Yeah, dinosaur.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna do a callback to that, and I think, you know what, that I think there's a good chance, possibly, maybe, that the Gigantopithecus survived in very small amounts. I just like that theory because, you know, there's a lot of the world we haven't discovered, man. I mean, who knows? They really could be out there.
I will also note that Bigfoot sightings take place all over the world. I briefly covered that in the description, but Yetis more specifically are Asian, are an Asian Bigfoot. They take place in like the mountains of Russia and all that stuff, which is why most commonly in like cartoons, whenever you see a talking Yeti, it's usually got a Slavic dialect or something like that. Point is that Bigfoot exists all over the place, so it's not just a American cryptid, although it is primarily American. So let us slide on into our categories. First off on the chopping block, do we like it? What do you guys think of the Bigfoot? You guys like the monkey man, the monkey rocks, the step outside, JC?
I don't think I will.
We don't, dude, I'm just by myself. No, come on.
Yeah,
come on, it's safe. Yeah.
Riddle me this.
Come on out, we got pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah, stuffed crust.
He's a pretty cool dude.
He's a cool dude.
I think he's definitely, no pun intended, he's left his mark on society and pop culture. He's definitely made a huge impact. I mean, he's like a household name at this point.
Me trying to figure out the pun.
Not a lot of other cryptids.
No, I was staring so intently trying to think of it. I was like what is it? What? Markiplier.
Joker.
Markiplier. No, Joker. No, dude. It's so away from us.
I caught a little Pokemon Batman.
Hello, Punny. You know what I caught?
Yeah, I think he's pretty cool. I think he's a cool dude.
Cool.
No, he's pretty cool. I like him. No matter which way you put it, even if he isn't real, I think that Bigfoot played a massive role into getting cryptids out there, giving the limelight. He's in pop culture just everywhere from America to Japan to Russia. Just no matter where you look, everybody knows what you're talking about when you say Bigfoot or Yeti or Yowie. There's a million different versions of him. Overall, though, really cool.
Yeah. I also realized I didn't answer active theories, so I'll briefly do that. I'm a fan of him just being Bigfoot. And also, I'm a fan of Bigfoot. I really like... Bigfoot was the first ever cryptid that I really got like into. It was, like JC said, the gateway for me learning about other cryptids. There was like a little book in my library, like my little middle school library. And it covered Bigfoot. And I actually learned about like Yowies there, funny enough. and skunk apes, all that stuff. So yeah, it's got a special place in my heart. But you know what else has a special place in my heart?
What?
Capitalism. Welcome to Treasure Hunt. This is the show where I'm going to give them 3 minutes, these 3 minutes to go find the most obscure piece of Bigfoot merchandise. And if they pick the same one, they gotta buy it. 3 minutes starts now. Good luck, gentlemen. Gentlemen, please, which one of you would like to go first?
Usually, I think I go first, so I'll let Brendan take this one.
All right.
Kind of you. So this one has a little bit of context.
Ooh, I don't like a story.
Well, it's a quick story, don't you worry. When I was delivering pizzas one day for my job, you know, as I do, because they're pizzas, but anyway, that's besides the point. I pulled up to this house, and this guy had a giant Bigfoot statue in his front yard. Like, this thing was huge. And as soon as you said we're going to do treasure hunt, I was like, oh, you know what? I know exactly what I'm doing. Here's a Bigfoot statue that you can purchase to put in your yard.
Ooh, I see that. That is in fact, a Bigfoot statue. I also just want to give you 3 points for the story.
Thank you.
I thought you meant that there was going to be a story attached to the thing itself that you needed in order to get the win.
Not really.
Not a fan of those.
Well, we don't know if we got the win yet.
Not a fan of potential stories.
Well, that's $300 to $5,000. I have something far more affordable. It's a Yeti poster with writings all over it, like it's a found cryptid. Obviously, with that old-fashioned yellowish look. And it's got cursive writing on the bottom and some like expedition newspapers.
Ooh.
I thought it was really cool looking.
That is really cool. I do like the scrolls. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Explorer's Notes from the video game Ark Survival Evolved. Kind of reminds me of those. Nice little format. Weathered paper. Really cool. Really cool. So looking between these two. Sorry, I almost forgot, JC. Points for old. They're the points you got.
Okay. Sure, I'll take it.
It's points old.
Points away for questioning me. This is a tough one because like I actually like both of these. Although if I had to say which one is a bit more unique. The statue's good, but I'm gonna have to give it to the dossier of the Yeti.
No way.
The statue, like by a hair, dude, almost got it, but
it was because I talked back, didn't I?
That you got me.
Damn it.
No, not actually. The real reason is because like the statue is so cool, but I am also grading based on uniqueness. But I've also seen sculptures, and that's just a scaled up sculpture, which is not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. But it was like you had steep competition. Steep competition.
Bring it back. Yeah, there you go.
We're moving on to encounter. Fellas, if you were in, we'll say Cuyahoga Valley National Park. No specific reason.
I got this, Todd. I was trying to show JC my Bigfoot call, and then he was going to make fun of me saying that it doesn't work. And then all of a sudden we hear some rustling in the bushes, and then Bigfoot just pops out, and we're like, holy shit, it worked.
Well, there you go. Bigfoot's in front of you now. What do you do?
It worked.
Is this one an aggressive? Or is this like a Yowie?
Who knows?
What is he? Does he look cracked out?
Dude, all Bigfoots look cracked out.
Okay, I watched a Bigfoot hunting show. I know exactly what to do. As he comes out the bush, I'm gonna bend my knees and I'm gonna stand there and I'm gonna go, Rocky, look right there. This is a Bigfoot in his natural habitat. And I think he'll leave me alone. If he thinks I'm just like a cameraman.
I then proceed to stand behind JC holding up a rock, pretending it's a camera.
So the Bigfoot sees you, panics, thinks there's a camera, and D1 athlete tackles JC over a cliff.
Where did the cliff come from?
Spawned in as a result of your call. JC, you managed to land inside of a thorn bush. You got a couple of broken bones. You're not dead yet, but Bigfoot's chilling. Bigfoot's like right on top of you. It starts roaring at you.
Do I hear him go, "Hey JC, come out. We got pizza."
Just as you like are landing, you see 6 other Bigfoots come out around the corner. Like single file line. I'm each screwed. With rocks.
I'm just kind of like looking up on the cliff, like, oh shit.
As JC's just getting bam, 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 bam.
I'm still alive. I mean, I'm dying, but
he's dying.
I'm gonna do my last resort, and I'm gonna make a Yeti call as my last resort.
Okay. As you're like dying, you make a call as all the Bigfoots stop as they kneel before you as their new king.
Let's go. Gang initiation. I'm gonna stand up on the one leg that I have left.
Mm-hmm. Remaining, by the way, the rest were torn off.
I will not pass Brendan's cowardice. I point to Brendan.
No.
And I beat my chest.
No, please.
Did you do that? They take it as a sign of aggression as they pick you up and throw you against the wall. As Brendan's up there thinking the worst of it, he feels like a finger on his shoulder, just a little tap tap.
Oh no.
6 other Bigfoots.
Right behind me, isn't he?
6 other Bigfoots lining Brendan like the couch meme. We're gonna fade to black and move on to death battle. This is a tough one. So specifically, we are going to be looking at base Bigfoot, which for context is just the Sasquatch that we see in like common stories. So we're not looking at the Yeti. We're not looking at the skunk ape. We're not looking at the Yowie. We're looking at just an ordinary Bigfoot, which I am willing to give more strength to than most others will, and I will explain my reasoning. I'm gonna put him right above Dogman.
You gotta go super squatch.
Okay, well, I mean, no, Bigfoot's pretty strong considering all the stats that he's been given in real life, like knocking down like 3-foot thick trees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, sure, he might not be fast, but he definitely is a real strong boy. I'm gonna let him like breeze through the first couple levels. I don't think he's really gonna struggle until he gets to like.
I mean, I have an answer.
I'm gonna say he's gonna struggle at the Thunderbird.
Yeah, I think that the Dogman is the closest thing you come to a fight, and my argument to why he can beat the Dogman, the Michigan Dogman, is because ultimately, if you frame it correctly, the Dogman is the question: who would win in a fight, a wolf or a silverback gorilla? Like, yes, the wolf is faster. I think we know the answer though. It would snap it in 2. The Thunderbird, however, I think is too powerful. I think the Thunderbird has way too much strength and flight. So I'm happy with putting Bigfoot right beneath the Thunderbird on our totem pole in 3rd place.
Yeah, that feels about right.
With that, moving on to our last category, fellas, gentlemen. After all the stories, after all the case files, after all the information, and after all the gang jumpings, at the end of the day, do you think could Bigfoot be real?
Todd, why don't you take this one?
Okay. I'm actually happy to. I would love to. Thank you. This is one of my favorite cryptids. So, initially, as I sort of alluded to in the earlier parts of the episode, I think that it's valid if you don't believe in Bigfoot. But I do think there's a big misconception with why people don't believe in Bigfoot, in the same sense that they don't know, like, their evidence to why it isn't real. They don't have any answers to it, and that's fair. That's a valid reason to not believe in it. But I think that those answers exist. They're just not immediately apparent. So since I did the research and I presented as much as I could on a surface level understanding of Bigfoot, I think that it answers enough for me to say that it is, to me, it is probably most definitely real. And if they are going to exist anywhere, it'd probably be the national parks. So, yeah. I don't know. I like him. I think he's real.
I think he's out there watching, plotting, scheming.
Dude, I was going to say scheming. We're so in sync.
So we have quite a few towns that we've talked about in our history that really just idolize their cryptids. This is one of the only cryptids that reaches worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like that also is going to be just a little bit more evidence for it to be real. Like, we even seen some cryptids that go in between different mythologies, between different tribes. I mean, that also gives it more merit, like tribes that haven't even had any sort of communication. This thing is around the entire world, man. How long has it been around the entire world? Like, when are some of the earliest encounters? We don't know. They could have been talking about this guy for a long time. I think it's definitely real.
Yeah, I'm thinking really hard on what I want to decide on, because you didn't give me anything super brand new that I haven't heard of. But at the same time, kind of just arguing for its case, there isn't anything that I can say that does disprove it. There is a lot more evidence for it to be alive than there is evidence for it to not be alive. So with that, sure, it's real. I'll say that I'm gonna change my answer from the beginning of this episode. I'm gonna say it's real. You've converted me.
All right. That's cool. And ultimately, at the end of the day, faithful listener, whether or not these things are or aren't real is for you to decide. While we have our own opinions, you are the deciding factor. The only person who it matters being real to is you until it's proven otherwise. So, with that being said, thank you for joining us on the most holliest of jolliest occasions. Again, we missed Christmas. I apologize profusely, but
just call it the holiday special at this point.
It is what it is.
Now.
Yeah, it is what it is. So thank you for joining us on the holiday special, festive times, and fellas, we are really quickly nearing the end of season 1 for Cryptid Zoo, and we have one more episode.
Been that long?
Yeah. We have one more episode to cover, and then we're done. We're done for the season, you know. So thank you everyone for listening, and come back New Year's when we tackle Leshgate.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
See you later, bye guys.